The Power Pod is an exclusive WSB radio production.
All right, let's go.
There we go. Starting.
Yeah, that's right. You're here.
Was that you just said that? Let's go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
You heard it from here. It's the Power Pod.
Nicole,
And I'm your host, Jared. That was really good, Nicole.
Thank you.
This is The Power Pod with Randi Okray, Christina Aicklen, Nicole Bennett, and your host, WSB's Jared Yamamoto.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to the Power Pod, and I am Jared Yamamoto from the Von Hessler Doctrine. You can hear me from 9 to noon every day on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. This is my Power Pod, and what this is it's a weekly recap show where we cover the current events of the week. We're not afraid to get serious, and we're not afraid to have a little fun. And when I say we, you're probably wondering, well, Jared, you're the only one that's right there. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I've got people surrounding me in this beautiful room here at the WSB studios. First of all, I've got Randi O over there in the corner. Randi O, how are you doing?
I'm feeling wonderful, Jay Reddy. How are you?
You are looking lovely, and I'm
thank
glad
you.
that you're having a good week. I love the energy that you're bringing. This is awesome.
Yes.
We're going to have a good week over here. And there she is over there in the corner. She's not the warmest and fuzziest of folks. That's Nicole Bennett over there. How are you, Nicole?
Hey, Jared. Standing today. I like this.
Yeah, this is great. This
Okay.
is a new thing.
Stretchy.
It's a little intimidating. Usually I'm the only one that
No,
stands.
listen, Clark Howard said this is how you should always stand up when you're on the mic. You should not be
really?
sitting down.
Well, it's good. It's good for your diaphragm. I
Yeah, I
imagine.
do feel kind of.
Yeah.
Feel powerful, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Powerful.
I
Yeah.
do.
Before we
Really.
started the show, there were some things that went on, which we'll get to
I'm
in a
so
minute. Over there in the corner, there, she's just waiting for her name to be called.
No.
That's Christina Aicklen. Christina, welcome back to July Week 5. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm trying to perk up so I can get my diaphragm ready for
Is
this.
that what's happening?
Because Nicole, well, maybe that or a new dance move.
Does
baby.
does it feel weird to be back? You were in New Orleans last
missed you
week,
guys.
and granted, you did join us via phone. We had our
Yes,
first
we heard you.
Modern Dating in Atlanta episode, which went very well.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I'm glad that you were able to join us via phone from New Orleans. But you left us abandoned. We all had withdrawals. We all had little Tina withdrawals.
Oh, well, I'm
Yeah, we
sorry.
did.
I'm back today.
And we're
Better
excited.
than ever.
Yeah, and you were noting too before the show that I said 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Yeah, I'm confused. There's signs everywhere. What's going on?
Listen, sometimes with WSB, the one reason that we stay on top of everybody, on top of all of our competitors, and we remain the best radio station in the world, is that we're always thinking about the future. And we just did this really cool revamp here at the station. You just got to listen to this.
News,
weather,
traffic, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
That is pretty cool. I have to admit,
I like the music.
I mean, I've been listening to WSB since I was probably 4 or 5 years old as an Atlanta native. And, I mean, we've always had that same bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum at the end. And then it goes, you say depend on it. And
Dun,
you go,
dun, 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 dun.
I mean, I remember listening to Braves games as a kid, listening to the Bulldogs. And, I mean, we're starting a new era. It's just a little change. We're still the same WSB.
Nicole seemed surprised.
I just had not heard that. I was at the station today, and I don't know how I hadn't heard that, but wow.
Yeah,
that is,
unbelievable. So we got all these signs around here. We're now 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. And don't worry, for those of you that are listening outside of Atlanta, you can still listen to us on the WSB radio app or on WSBradio.com. I mean, none of that's changed. I mean, we're not crazy to change all that stuff.
It'd be insane.
Now, last week, we had a lot of fun. We had the 19th annual WSB Carathon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my gosh, I mean, our listeners are just incredible at this
So
station.
amazing.
They raised over $1.7 million for
Wow, congrats.
for the Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and that is just remarkable to me. That's unbelievable. It speaks about how, number one, how awesome that organization is, but how awesome the listeners to this station, to this show are that contributed. One of the things that we're all teaming up, our contribution to the WSB Carathon, is we offered an incentive item where all the Power Pod gals are going to come join English Nick and I on our pub crawl out in the Highlands on September 27th. I think we sold almost 50 pairs of that thing.
my
So it was just
God.
unbelievable.
We're going to have fun.
So it's going to be a wild time. We teamed up with Bar Crawls Atlanta. They host the event. They do an amazing job.
Yes, they do.
We're looking forward to it. And there are other incentive items that people bought. It doesn't matter how much you donated. If you donated $5 to the campaign, that's amazing. If you donated $5,000, I mean, you're an amazing human being. For all those that contributed to help these kids out, if you even had a chance to see it, just check out my social on it. I mean, oh my gosh, I was on the brink of tears a couple times, and even Tina came and helped out because Randy, you were out there. Nicole was out there. Randy, it was your second time, right?
It was my second time, and it was, this time I was like a lot more emotional. Like,
Me too.
And I think because I think some of the kids from the last year, they had passed away.
Yeah.
And I was just like super sad. So everybody that contributed, like I said, from all of this, I learned like how much research goes into play and how much the money donated is important to find these cures so, these children can, live their lives. So it was really, really nice.
And a lot of them, I mean, they're especially the 5 to 8-year-olds. I mean, they don't even realize what's going on with them. And when you see them in person like that, it's just hard to even imagine. I mean, a lot of times when you would get the older kids, the 13 to say 17-year-olds, we would take them and we would put them on the air during the Carathon, and they seem to get it. And those are the ones that really hit me hard because they know what's going on with them. But for them to be that strong and to fight through this, I mean, listen, this is an amazing organization that has helped these kids. I mean, imagine, I think 20 years ago before the Carathon started, there was only a 50 to 60% survival rate. Now it's up to 80%.
Yeah,
and
that's incredible.
Nicole, you were out there too. I mean, did you get emotional out there at all?
I did. And like you said, I think some of the preteens will get me just because they're so well-spoken. Not that I didn't expect that, but they can articulate their feelings so well and what they went through, and it's definitely eye-opening. But then there was Luna, who's 9 months old.
Oh,
that
yes.
killed
Oh my
me.
gosh,
Killed me. So... yeah, it was just to be there, I think, is gives you a different perspective instead of just some years I've been here at the station and I'll just report on it from here, but to actually go, incredible.
And even Tina used one of her volunteer days to come out and support the WSB Carathon, which
only volunteer day.
Which everyone is extremely grateful that you did. You had a chance to see one of the children's parents ring the bell where they got their last treatment. I mean, what was that like?
Oh, I was actually I was talking to a coworker about that earlier a couple days ago, and I think that really hit me. I got very emotional and had to actually walk out of the room where they rung the bell. But obviously the child was shaken, and so the parents were telling their child, hey, it's okay, comforting him. And then when that bell rang, I just lost it.
It was so hard to see all that stuff, but hey, $1.7 million, we're that much closer to helping those kids out, and hopefully
and the
getting
staff there is just so amazing. The child life specialists.
Thank you for bringing up the staff too.
Yeah.
The staff, they're just incredible, great people, so easy to work with, so laid back. I mean, to be in a situation like that where you see these kids daily, I don't know.
I was just going to say that. Having that disposition and the patience and
it's a gift for sure.
It really is.
I don't know how they do that, but we thank everybody that contributed. And if you haven't contributed, you can still go to WSBradio.com and leave a donation. Any donation is huge. And think about it next year. Call into the call center. I mean, we're there 36 straight hours. We're manning the phones. I know that Tina and I went and we manned the phones for 4 hours, and from 5 to 6 o'clock on Friday last week, I mean, they were blowing up.
That last hour was insane.
I mean, I could not put the phone down. That people were calling so much. But listen, guys, as much as we love talking about the Carathon and stuff, we have a duty to serve our listeners out there, and that is there's been a ton of news this July Week 5. First with the Democrat debates. Oh my gosh, fireworks abound. Wow. I promise we'll get to that, but I think Randy's got the most important story of the week. What's up, Randy? Tell me what's
Okay, so guys, I know you love The Bachelorette, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course we do, right?
I like the train wreck aspect of it, for sure.
Well, before I get into that train wreck, I didn't watch it really, but after, hearing everything, I went back and watched everything in the last episode on Monday. OMG. OMG.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it started off like this. You thought it was going to be a happy ending.
Hannah.
Yes?
Will you marry me?
Oh, look, see, they're looking all happy. They're PDA. Just beautiful.
Who
Yeah.
does the music? I gotta know.
Kissy, kissy.
Sucking face, just enjoying each other, having a good time. Yeah. She said she loved him.
Jared.
But then what happened, Randy?
Okay, so then, like, craziness, Jed, who she chooses, of course, he got a whole nother life. Looked like he had a relationship that he didn't really cut off. Like, what?
Then Chris Harrison, after this moment happens, Chris Harrison sits down with Hannah, who is the Bachelorette, and this is what they talk about.
So, where does your relationship stand now?
I am not with Jed anymore.
What?
Okay.
Why are they cheering? Why?
Because it's girl powered, baby.
But who cares, though? She already had problems with the other guys that
The
she was dating.
engagement's over. We're not together. It's just, that's not what I said yes to.
No.
That's not.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Hannah.
Bama Hannah is what
I like
she's
that.
on
Oh,
Instagram.
man.
I think that's what it
Oh,
is.
no.
That's pretty close, Nicole. Try that again. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You have that down, Nicole.
She's got that vocal
Cole
fry
is
down.
doing these imitations
Okay,
today.
so what did she find out from the moment that she said, I do, yes, I'm going to marry
Like
you.
I said,
love
she found
you.
out that he had another relationship at the end of the day. And even though, like she said, he ended it, but
her.
before he left, he told that girl, I love her. Right before he got on the show. So all that got exposed. But then there was more.
What? What happened?
How? Okay, so it was out of him, and what was his name? Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler. It was down to Tyler and Jed. She sent Tyler home.
Yes. Okay, so she on the show. Okay, so she's like, I just want to, I'm thankful for this show. Help me be a better person. I just want to live my life, yada, yada, yada. I want to be married in my own time. Okay, so Tyler, they bring him on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she asks him out.
Oh, I didn't know.
She
that.
asked him
What
out.
about this moment?
Hannah.
What about Jed?
No, forget about Jed.
Jed is a cheater and a
Will
liar.
you marry me?
That was so romantic.
That was so, well, no, she said forget. It went back to Tyler, and so now they're like,
So now they're talking, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Who
so
she was going to choose eventually.
So Jed, the story about him that I've been hearing is that he had a serious girlfriend before the show began
Right.
and decided that, hey, I'm going to do this show so that way I can build up my music career, right? His profile, correct?
Right.
And he didn't expect to make it into the finale. He wanted to make top 5 so that way he got exposure, right? Well, then he makes it all, I guess he makes it all the way to that level. And Nicole, I think you were telling me about this. They have to surrender their phones, right?
Yes, before filming, they have to surrender their phones. But like you said, Randy, he told this girl that he'd been seeing for 4 months or so, I love you.
He
I'll
met
see
her.
you-
The girl met his parents.
Yeah, I'll see you on the other side.
yeah.
And
There
that
are
was
so
the
many
last
more
she heard
layers
from
to
him.
this story. I
Yeah.
promise you, we have to get into it, but we have to take a break. So we'll be right back. We'll uncover more of this right here on the Power Pod.
The Power Pod on WSB Radio. Join the show at 800 WSB Talk or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB Radio app.
Man, so we're just uncovering all the Bachelorette drama here.
Undressing it all.
Yes, we are undressing it all. First of all, okay, so and Nicole, I look to you as my voice of reason on this one because you hate this show. You hate it. And you used to like it, but there's got to be, the producers have got to be behind this, right? Please tell me that this is not a thing, right?
I think I liked it more, and not to say that maybe nothing has changed, but I feel like they've pulled the curtain back a lot more. People are a lot more upfront about it's a publicity stunt for me.
Yeah.
They're honestly vying now for just a Bachelor in Paradise role, is what
That's
I'm
so true.
convinced.
Yeah.
It's just like this kind of baby step to that.
Which the Bachelor in Paradise is next, correct? That's what comes up
Right.
afterward.
Yes.
Which that one is.
It's pretty interesting. I like it.
It is fun to watch the
Yeah, I
train
like
wreck
it.
It is,
train wreck
yeah.
aspect of
And
that.
I think it's fun because they portray it as just trashy TV.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Bachelor franchise is still trying to make me think
They're elegant and elite.
true love and all.
Your
Yeah, I just
soulmate.
So please
more
tell
that
me
can
that
happen.
people out there aren't watching this and they're taking it seriously,
Jared,
right?
yes,
'Cause-
people
Of
are.
course.
What? Are you kidding me?
I think there
I-
are still people out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
I
going
have
to name names,
Hopeless
but yes.
romantics.
Listen, I have no hope for America left. Tina, what's next?
Yes, we've got a great story. Just really throwing it in the water there. Speaking of water, guys, we're in the middle of Shark Week. And guess what? There are several people in the state of Georgia that are having shark fin soup for a delicacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shark fin.
Have you guys ever had this?
I have
Such
had
thing?
shark fin soup before, believe it or not. Yeah.
Jared.
Well, I didn't think anything of it. I mean, listen, when the shark's on the land, he's in my house. When I'm in the ocean, I'm in the shark's house. I fully admit that when I'm swimming in the ocean like that I am making myself vulnerable to all the creatures of the sea. But the second I pull that fish or that creature out of the sea, it's my domain right there.
So, on to that note, there are states that have completely banned any kind of, shark trading. Georgia is not one of those states. So
that we can have it here.
We can have it here, but you don't want to know how it's made. I will tell you. You want to know?
Put me in there.
It involves chopping the fin off, and then most of the time they're throwing the sharks back into the ocean, and they die.
Now, the Animal Welfare Institute says that an estimated 73 million sharks are killed.
I didn't want to say that because it was sad.
73 million?
73 million are killed annually just for their fins.
So,
Because the second you cut it off, they can't swim away, right?
No,
They just
their
die,
predators
right?
get them.
So the fan, of course, is the top.
Yeah.
What do you call these other little? They don't do nothing with these hands. These,
They're shark hands, yeah.
What are they called?
They keep their hands.
These are not fins too, right? These are fins.
And then they get manicures.
Dorsal fin.
Dorsal fin
on top.
Come on, smart girl.
And then the hands. I like thinking of sharks with hands.
Sad. They don't even. I mean, the sharks are still alive, and they're taking their fin off and then throwing them back into the water.
It's sad.
Those
but,
are called,
sharks would kill us in a minute, so I don't feel like that bad.
Thank you, Randy and I are on the same team.
I don't like animals, but it's a shark. I mean, it was going to kill you, so.
By the way, so thanks to the powers at Google, that fin that you're talking about, the shark hand, that's called the pectoral fin.
There we
pectoral
go.
fin.
Nicole was on to it.
Just so that way, all the listeners out there, now you know that when you see the shark hands, those are the pectoral fins.
I just took a boomerang of Randy doing this cute little shark movement of her hands moving up and down.
So the way I look at it, though, is okay. There's tons of sharks out there, right? And nobody gets upset when we eat grouper. Nobody gets upset when we right. It's delicious.
Grouper.
Nobody gets upset when we eat flounder like that. Why is there no outrage? Why is the Animal Welfare Institute not getting upset about that? I want them to protect all the flounder out there. I want them to protect all the mahi-mahi out there. I want them to protect all the grouper, all the fish of the world out there.
Fish are friends.
Well, to be clear, I really think the biggest issue is just I get seen in her face. I think it's because it's inhumane the way that they're doing it.
Listen, put those shark hands down right there. We got to take a little break here on the Power Pod. We're all going to get our little pectoral fins in order, and we'll be right back here on the Power Pod.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brandon.
And if you're a parent, check out Dadsplaining a Fatherhood podcast.
We're two first-time dads trying to figure out fatherhood.
Every week we talk about parenting topics like sleep training and tantrums and interview other moms and dads to hear their parenting stories.
We're definitely not experts on fatherhood, but we do like to share what we've learned so far.
So if you're looking for a parenting podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously, search for Dadsplaining a Fatherhood podcast.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, look at us. We've all got our little shark hands. Randy's over there swimming around the studio. And you know what? We're not going to have any shark fin soup. We all agreed to that during the break, and that's fine. Okay, I won't eat any more sharks.
Whatever.
But if I invite you guys over to a shark steak cookout, I expect you guys to be there because that's not just the fin right there. You're eating the whole dang shark.
Fake news.
Okay? Come on. We're all coming. We're all going to have a nice Power Pod grill out where we have shark steaks.
Jared,
let it go.
Listen, you should see, the great thing about this being an audio medium is that you should see their faces. They're licking their lips. They're ready for it. They're like, this sounds,
rolling our eyes at
this sounds delicious.
Ugh.
Now, I promise all the listeners out there, we're going to cover these Democrat debates, but you know what, Nicole? I think you got a story that's even better than the Democrat debates.
Think it's
What's
even
going
better.
on?
So we all know, we've seen the trailer at this point for Top Gun Maverick, which is coming out next year. Kelly McGillis, who was in the original Top Gun, played Tom Cruise's love interest and flight instructor, I think more importantly.
Love interest.
No, was not invited to be in the sequel.
What?
How could they do that?
Such a good song.
I know, but talk about entering the danger zone there. Why did they invite her back?
So there was an interview this week that she gave. She was very nice about it, very diplomatic, but just said she's Really not sure, honestly. She's in a different place in her life now. She's kind of dropped off the Hollywood radar for her own reasons.
But I'm sorry, if you're going to make a Top Gun reboot, though, shouldn't you have all the main cast back?
I really don't know what went into their decision, but I know she seems 100% okay with it. I think she even said I haven't even watched the trailer at this point. So
all right.
She's not interested.
Yeah, not at all.
Or maybe she's playing that game, that you ladies play, where
Not
it's like,
old
I
women.
don't care,
Older women.
I'm fine.
You ladies?
I don't care.
First of all,
Okay,
that's
sure.
just-
I mean, she's 62 now, and I guess 5 years ago she actually got diagnosed with a lung condition. So just for her own reasons, she said, my priorities changed, and I'm a mom, and so
make it sound good, Nicole. Make it sound good.
Nicole, come on.
Okay.
No Top Gun for Kelly McGillis.
Now, are you guys going to actually see it? I mean, I saw the trailer for it. It looks cool, but the thing about Tom Cruise is I'm first of all, I'm amazed at how well he's aged. I'll give it to him.
I'll give it to him, too,
He's not my favorite actor, though.
Really?
He's never done it like that. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying that I love that he does his own stunts. But maybe, I'm still bitter about all the Katie Holmes stuff that happened back in the day.
While you was a Katie Holmes
Wow,
fan?
I would say his personal life, I don't care
At
about.
all.
His acting.
Yeah, show me the money.
I was just going to say, Jerry Maguire is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Maguire is definitely a classic for sure. I don't know.
Oh, you kind of sound like Kelly McGillis right now. I don't know if I really
maybe a
care
little bit.
about
I'm definitely gonna see the Top Gun reboot, and we're gonna have shark steaks. We're gonna see the Top Gun reboot together. We're gonna have a great old time.
It's gonna be great.
Negative.
But don't worry.
What?
I have a story for you. I know everybody's been waiting on pins and needles for this because this has been brewing for a while now. Now we had 2 Democrat debates this week. We had the first night you had Bernie Sanders versus Elizabeth Warren. Basically, those were the 2 headliners on that one. And then on night 2 you had Kamala Harris versus Joe Biden, which, in case you're just picking up on all this stuff, Kamala Harris went after Joe Biden in the first Democratic debate and arguably won it. I think most critics agree that she won the debate. Now, the polling data, I know this gets you fired up, Nicole. Now, the polling data says that Joe Biden has fully recovered from that debate.
Of course
that
he
was
has.
back at the beginning of June, if I believe. And so it's been a little while. And already there were some fireworks that happened between the first night. So here's Bernie Sanders, which, by the way, if you didn't watch that first debate, I was actually fairly impressed with John Delaney, who was a former representative from Maryland, I believe. And I was also super impressed with the Montana governor, Steve Bullock. Moderate Democrats, how about that? Reaching out to people in the middle where most of us exist.
Smart
like
strategy.
that. This idea of healthcare for everybody, Medicare for all. Listen, we work for a wonderful company and we get great healthcare. I could not imagine somebody taking that away from me and then saying, oh, we're going to take this away from you and then give you a whole other plan and just completely uproot the entire thing. So I think that a lot of those moderate Democrats are coming from the right frame of mind. But there were some fireworks, of course, in night 1. And here's Bernie Sanders talking about Medicare for all.
It will finally include dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses.
But you don't know.
Second of all.
You don't know that,
Second
Bernie.
of all.
We'll come to you in a second,
I do know, and I wrote the damn bill.
Love Bernie.
So the problem with Bernie in that argument there is he's just trying to win talking points. And we all have friends like that, right? Where you can't have a rational conversation with them about politics because they're just trying to win the argument, right? Instead of actually trying to hear new ideas. And what I observed from Bernie in that moment was he's just more concerned about what's in his bill than anything. He's not hearing what John Delaney's saying. He's saying, hey, I've worked in healthcare before. I know how this works. But Bernie Sanders just comes from a standpoint I wrote a bill and I know that it will fix it. I know it'll fix everything like that. We need to get back to a place, and especially I expected more from the Democrats. The Democrats need to get to a place where they can actually talk to each other. Now, on night 2, of course, healthcare was a big deal, as it's going to be in this election. I mean, Republicans really don't have an answer for it as well. Sorry for those Trump fans out there, but there's been no improvement really on healthcare. The only thing that that Republicans can really run on, the fact that the economy is doing very well, and I think that with people being employed, they're getting more healthcare that way. So they do have that going for them, but in terms of actually fixing the overall process, there's not a lot going on from that standpoint. But Biden and Kamala Harris, they had a little punch 'em up at the very beginning of that debate.
Go easy on me, kid.
So that was Biden telling Kamala to go easy on him after what happened in the first debate. Now, overall, we're still a long way away from the election. I sound like a broken record saying that because it's true. I mean, we still have a long way to go, and I think that the polling data is still, it can change easily. And these moderate Democrats, especially from the first night, watch out for them, because if they make the September debate, which is the next one, then they might see a path where if Joe Biden can't make it all the way through, then they could be the party's candidate, because I'm sorry, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world and the Bernie Sanders of the world, I don't think they reflect what the majority of what America is going for now. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I know that Nicole gets upset when I talk about Joe Biden like that.
I'm listening with an open mind
and an open heart.
Exactly.
You might have to fall in love with John Delaney or somebody else.
She won't do that.
Maybe Andrew Yang or something like that. Maybe you'll have to fall in love, find a new love interest. I know it's going to be hard on you.
If Hannah can do it, I can do it.
So
if we've learned anything.
Yes. So you follow. Hey, there still is Marianne Williamson. How can I not forget her? She Love Will Win.
I would love to see her. My best friend, I'll give her a shout out, Molly, said, would you not love to see Marianne Williamson and Trump in a debate, though?
I think they would talk past each other the entire time.
Or they would just annihilate each other.
She sounds like
amazing.
She sounds like when she talks, she has this, those people that get that accelerated talking rate, right? It sounds like she's pushing the gas pedal down every time she talks. Especially when she's trying to make a point. She goes, and then we started off going there, and we needed to make sure that we could get the health care for everybody, and we needed to make sure that we could go to the mountaintop, and we could tell everybody that we needed to do this. And it's like, whoa, lady, whoa.
Like an auctioneer.
Whoa. Yeah. Yes, like an auctioneer, exactly. I'm like, whoa, lady, relax. You're going to hurt yourself.
We need to say it like it is. It's bigger than Flint. It's all over this country. It's particularly people of color. It's particularly people who do not have the money to fight back. And if the Democrats don't start saying it, then why would those people feel that they're there for us? And if those people don't feel it, they vote for us, and Donald Trump will win.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williamson.
Randy, what's next?
Well, speaking of hurting yourself, if you have too many drinks, you can do just that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you all agree?
Oh, for sure.
Jared
Well,
can.
clearly a survey says that about everyone in Atlanta is doing the same thing. Do you know that Atlanta is one of the top 10 cities for having the most alcoholic beverages?
I believe it. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Top 10
I think we're
cities?
ranked 19th on that
We
list.
are
19 out of 25.
19 out of 20, not bad.
And the way they're basing it off, all us Instagrammers with our drinks, sips, or whatever, they're doing the hashtags like drinking, vacay, and they're doing it that way. So it's about 3% in Atlanta. I said, and I'm a girl who tags like
It's
drinking,
work
party
hard,
time,
play hard
you know?
mentality that we all have, I think. Yeah. Because
I
we do.
believe it.
We work really hard and then we play really hard.
Really
So-
hard. We want to show the world. Why?
Exactly.
And think about how many
don't
people
know.
stop through Atlanta. It's like
Right.
the
Yeah.
city,
The
it's
airport.
Very true.
southern capital. I don't know, how many people are stopping through Atlanta to have a little drink, have a little
See,
dinner.
I'm with Randy. Randy said initially that it was in the top 10. I think Atlanta should be in the top 10. I mean, has anybody been out in this town like that? I mean, this town, there are so many neighborhoods you can go to. The late nights never stop. I think for sure. I think the top 3 cities are Portland, New Orleans, and Seattle. Which I'm sorry.
I'm surprised about Seattle.
I think we're definitely better than Portland. Now Portland's got some
Actually,
amazing
Denver.
But even I think Atlanta's a bigger city than Denver. Denver is awesome. I'm not for anybody listening from Denver, don't hate on me for it. I still think Denver.
I love Denver.
I love Denver too. For all of you listening, right?
But I think Atlanta has a better party scene.
Absolutely.
Than Denver for sure. So I think that the
party scene. Wait, depends what kind of party you want to have. Because Denver
that's true. Maybe it might be further than alcohol. I see where you're going with that. On that note, Nicole, what's next?
So we had another big headline this week. Capital One. There was a data breach. We had over 100 million individuals had their data compromised in this breach. Yes.
Were you affected?
I was not. I do have a Capital One credit card, though, that I opened in the past couple of years, and I haven't received any notifications probably because of my credit score, so I don't think anybody really wanted to hack me. Just putting that out.
Why do you have a bad credit score, Nicole?
No, it's not bad. It's just, it's bad. It just said to me, I was like, wow, they took one look, and they were like, I'm good.
I'm good.
Hard pass.
What do you do when you leave the station here? Like, what kind of life do you live?
Get out of her business, Jared. right?
I honestly did not have a credit card until 2 years ago. This was my first one. So
that's not always bad, though.
I'm a baby when it comes to credit.
So she charged them up, shouty.
I will say, Nicole, not to freak you out, but I would keep checking your statements because you just never know.
Yeah, well, that being said, I did get notifications, and I'm not making this up, within the past month or so about my social security number, which they're saying. So it's this woman in Seattle was the suspect behind the hack. She's 33 years old. Her name is Paige Thompson. And she exposed not only credit card data, but like 140,000 social security numbers. And I got alerts about my social.
Oh,
So
wow.
I should probably do something.
Let me ask you about that really quickly. How can you check it on there? Because, what was something else that got breached and we was able
We
to...
had Equifax.
And they tell you, they send you your check. Everybody go to Equifax, it's your $125.
Yes.
But, okay, I didn't see it on the website for Capital One.
Well, I read online, CBS posted an article earlier this week, and there are steps that experts are saying you should take, like freeze your credit.
Okay.
You can enable a two-factor authentication. That's how you say that. Sign up for credit monitoring. Don't get phished. So if you get random emails asking you for info that's not coming from a reliable source, don't respond. And change your passwords regularly, which I don't do, but we all should, I think.
Yeah, we should. But gosh, so everything is. I don't really answer mail anymore. I don't write checks anymore. I know that it's. I do basically everything online to change all your passwords. When you think about that, how many accounts do you think you guys have realistically?
Like over 100.
Oh, it's got to be, right? If you count everything that you're accessing on a daily basis, that's a lot of passwords. And I think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, it's easy, just change all your passwords." No, it's not easy to do that.
And to keep track of all that.
You never do the same password for more than one thing. God bless. How do you keep up with it?
Have you noticed that, like on your phones, though, they're giving you the option like one touch for all your passwords?
Yeah.
Right, which I think is. Do you think that's safe?
I'm
Enable
I'm in
Touch
between
ID.
about it. Like,
I am too.
Right, because I think that one of the things that thieves are doing is they're number one, they're not only targeting your wallet now. I know that at Piedmont Park earlier this week, there was a guy that got choked from behind.
That's right.
First of all, the story's weird. Okay, like the fact that a guy got that close to you, was able to put his hands around your neck like that at dusk is a little weird. Sounds kind of like there was an inside job on that one. But the really shocking thing about it is that they're asking now, the thieves are asking for your access code for your phone as soon as they rob you, which I think that's a relatively new thing. So if you're unlocking your phone, like you're saying there, Randy, you have access to everything.
But who doesn't have a lock code? Like, for example, that Touch ID that you're talking about. Like, I have that on. Well, I shouldn't say this, but you have Touch IDs for different things. You have passwords for different things. They'd have to know all your passwords to unlock your more than your passcode.
Well, if that Touch ID, what if that Touch ID is connected with all of your different passwords, so it unlocks everything?
What's kind of incredible too is the part that stood out to me is they were saying Miss Thompson, Paige Thompson, was boasting online about hacking. She was part of a group that does this for fun. That's how they traced her. And I'm thinking,
Amazon worker too, right?
Yeah,
that is unbelievable.
Wow.
Yep, it was an Amazon Web Service. She was a former employee, which hosted the Capital One database, which is how she got in.
Well, here's the lesson, everybody. Be careful with your passwords out there. There's no safe method. You should always be checking your credit and everything like that, especially I never thought about doing this stuff. This is #adulting to the max right here, folks. We have to do it at all times. And on that note, we'll be right back here on the Power Pod.
The Power Pod on WSB Radio. Join the show at 800 WSB Talk or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB Radio app.
A busy week this week. We're covering all the topics all over the universe, and I know Tina's got an amazing story that we're going to get to here in just a second. Next week, we're going to do our very first Power Pod call-in special, guys. How about that?
Woo! Call us.
So from 8:40 to 9 o'clock, we're going to tape next week on Wednesday night. You can call into the show. We'll take any of your questions. You want to ask Randy about her shark hands? You could do that. You want to ask Tina about her travel? That's fine. You could ask about Nicole, why she's not warm and fuzzy. That's totally fine. We'll take all the calls during that 20-minute window.
So many other things they could ask me about.
On 800 WSB Talk or 404-872-0750. That's going to be a lot of fun. A Power Pod first. But first, before we even get to that, listen, we have more stories to cover. There's just so much this week. So, Tina, what's going on?
So, guys, breaking news. Your favorite show ever has come to an end.
What
Does
show is
anyone
that?
watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show every year?
I thought you were talking about Stranger Things.
I know. That's why I was tricking you, seeing if you're listening to me. So the annual Victoria's Secret fashion show is coming to an end, and we're hearing this directly from one of the angels herself.
What?
Her name is Shanina Shaikh, says that the iconic lingerie brand is doing a no-go for 2019 show.
Why?
Well, the ratings have been kind of low for the last couple of years.
It was kind of an interesting concept, right? Because you see all the angels walking around, and
they're beautiful,
and they're usually wearing scantily clad clothing, and the target. To me, seems like it would be men to watch that show, but yet it seems like women gather around and watch
Right,
this.
because you got to see the outfit. If you want to buy it, that's what's coming out. You want to see if you want that outfit.
Right.
It
goes to that theory that technically, I think I've read somewhere, I mean, they've done studies that women dress for other women.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I know I do.
Totally
Anybody
a
for
thing.
WSB.
Absolutely.
Because guys don't care.
No.
They really don't. They don't.
You can wear a t-shirt and some blue jeans.
There
We'd
it
be
is.
just fine with me.
That's it.
That's the type of guy that Nicole likes right there.
I find it ironic and funny that my girlfriends will get together, have like pizza, and watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show with all of these beautiful women with like six packs walking down the runway.
Well, what are we going to do now? Is there a replacement show?
She's not saying much in this interview. The interview says that it's just a no-go for 2019, and she's hopeful that they'll have another one in 2020.
That means they're going to do it big in 2020.
The CEO at their company got in big trouble because he had an interview saying that they would never have men or trans on their show. So I think that was a big step back.
As a
for
male
them.
in 2019, I found it offensive that I wasn't allowed to be part of the show.
Jared applied.
And I did apply,
I'm sorry.
and I'm a little upset that I wasn't allowed to do this.
Which wings were you going to wear?
I was going to wear the golden feather wings, whichever ones those were. But listen, I just don't know what we're going to do. I mean, without this fashion show, I mean, I don't think women will be able to choose any more clothing anymore. I mean,
I'm not going to know what to wear under my clothes now.
Yeah, you're not.
That's a lot.
You're not going to know.
Guess you're just going to go commando all the way.
I mean,
guess so.
The only solution I can think of.
In fashion time.
The only solution I can think of, guys, is the new Randy's Rundown.
It's Randy's Rundown.
Woo, Jerry, you caught me off guard, big guy.
What is he building up
Alrighty,
to?
guys.
Never know.
Listen, we were talking about Instagram earlier in the show. Well, guess what? To all you influencers, if you don't want to lose your life, you better watch out. A man was arrested after an Instagram influencer was found dead in a suitcase.
Yes, this girl was a Russian
that.
model.
Yes, beautiful.
And she's absolutely gorgeous. And this story is very fresh still. I just hope that they get this scumbag. Anybody that would do something like that is just absolutely horrific. And, she didn't do anything wrong.
Nothing.
I mean, I'm sure it was probably
Jealousy. She go on with her boyfriend on her 25th birthday. And he took her out. Hater, Meg, hater.
You know what, Randy? I couldn't have said it better myself. What's next?
Yes, so a former American Idol star, Antonella Barber, she pleads guilty, facing 10 years to life for selling fentanyl.
Oh, fentanyl, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
boo.
Yeah, fentanyl, man, that's getting laced in everything.
Like, what the heck is people doing?
I mean, if you, what was that, Nicole?
Is it a horse tranquilizer or it's stronger than a horse?
I think it's stronger than.
That's what I tried.
Ketamine is the horse tranquilizer. How I know about this? I mean, I've just read places. I wouldn't know anything else about it, but I mean, oh my gosh,
How a street banger selling drugs.
It's amazing to me that this person went from being so high on American Idol.
And on Fear Factor.
Not that kind of high, by the way. High in terms of in terms of her celebrity appearance or celebrity profile to doing this, and she also did Fear Factor too.
Yes.
Wow.
So I mean, this bless her heart. She just needs to. Hopefully, she can ride the ship and get things right. What's next?
Okay, speaking of ships, sort of, kind of. North Korea launches unidentified projectiles, South Korea military says.
Well, so this is weird. President Trump went to the DMZ and met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. and they had a big photo op, but it seemed like things were going rather well between the two. But with them watching missiles, I mean, watch out. It's kind of like a baby asking for attention now. So he's like, yeah, point at me, look at me.
He does remind me of a baby when I see him.
Yeah.
Just a spoiled little baby.
He's like, put me on the world stage again. So until they, I mean,
shark hands.
With shark hands, exactly. We're all doing it. So it's definitely a nervous time. We should definitely keep our eye on him. But what's next?
Okay, yes. Speaking of keeping our eyes on things, how many of you got so stressed out at the airport waiting for your flight? At Hartsfield.
This is a Christina story to the max. She is always flying around.
Traveling. I'm always traveling. Okay. Well, guess what, guys? If you're stressed at the airport because you're waiting on your flight, do not worry. Meet the unicorns providing therapy at SFO.
What?
They're little bitty fluffy doggies that are going to come to you and you can hug them and release your stress as you wait for your next flight.
Can they bring him to Atlanta?
I was going to say, can I just go to the airport just for the fun of it?
Nicole's like, I just want a buddy pass so I can hang out with my buddies.
I know, they're so cute, the dogs in the picture.
So cute.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you're flying, you're flying. You don't need that kind of stuff. Maybe I sound like an old curmudgeon. What's next?
Or EVH. Woodstock 50 will be free, guys, if it happens.
Breaking news, Randy. It's not happening.
Dun, dun, dun.
What's next?
Little Nas X, Hey Boo, lasso's the record for longest running #1 song in the U.S. chart history.
Good for him.
Right.
It's stuck in my head all night now.
Good.
As long as we've been in existence, this show or this song has been number one.
Oh my gosh, that's
God. Hey.
Wait, that's so. This is
It's
like
like
our
we
theme song.
lassoed a record.
We lassoed.
Come on, we lassoed.
We did,
right?
We helped him,
A
right?
show.
We
We
did.
lassoed a show.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
I'm so happy for him, though.
I really
I
am.
know.
too.
Me too.
And I know we have one more story left. So
Yes, the biggest thing of all, okay, because my coworker wasn't freaking talking about it. So this week, Wednesday, I believe, MLB trade deadline.
Yes, and the Braves finally made some moves. We've been waiting for this for a while. The Braves look good. They're in first place in the National League East, looking really good, really good. Like we could maybe win a World Series. Now, I know we're still a ways out, but we got two relief pitchers and we got a catcher, which is exactly what we needed to make that run into the postseason. Go Braves. We got to hope that this move works out for us. And you know what, ladies? I'm hearing the music right now, so that means that we've got to, unfortunately, our time here for the Power Pod this week is over. But don't worry, we're going to do it again next week.
We're going to lasso it in.
And yes, we're going to lasso next weekend, and we're going to have our first call-in special. Does that sound like fun?
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, can I ask you guys to put your hands in the middle?
Oh, my gosh,
Okay, yeah, let's all do it. Let's all put our hands in just like we always do, okay? Come on. Hey, intern Jared, come on, get over here. And make sure that you put your hands in. All right, ready? We're going to count down from 3. 3, 2, 1.
Power Pod!
We'll see you next week!